What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome to a video detailing or looking at the leaked card designs. I saw some stuff from FUT and from FIFA nomicsnet Twitter account, and he basically had a detailed listing of all of the brand new cards found in the database for EA. Now, of course, we know from FIFA 18 that card types in the database doesn't necessarily mean they'll get used. Last year they had the Movember cards in the database, and Movember was not a promo that EA looked at. But they also had lots of new card types that kind of have to be in the game this year because of the way the game has worked. So we're going to take a look at what the card types are, what we think they might be used or useful for, and how they could potentially look. All the graphics work has been done by my graphics designer, Clearly Graphics, absolute legend, putting his interpretation and his spin on what these cards might look like. But before we get into that, guys, today's video is brought to you by My4, a brand new revolutionary way to play fantasy football. Pick 4 players, that's right, only 4 players per team from your teams, and challenge your friends, or in my case followers, to see who can come out on top in the next round of fixtures. And the next round of fixtures that we're going to be looking at, that you guys are going to be signing up for, is going to be the Champions League games this coming Tuesday and Wednesday. There are no season-long commitments with My4 like there are in other fantasy football apps. You simply challenge a friend or some friends whenever and wherever you like. Players can wager real money if you want to, up to a maximum of £20 per stake, but you of course must be 18 years or older to be involved in that, and you absolutely must go through the verification process as shown on screen right now to prove that you are over 18 for this app. Or you can simply play for free for bragging rights, which is what you and I are going to do right here, right now. My4, of course, is free to download on both iOS and Android. Link is in the description below, and also the link to my challenge is in the description below, so you guys can sign up and come and play against me. On screen now, guys, you'll be looking at me picking my players. Very, very simple. You just go to my challenge, you click on the games, you click on the team or the fixture that you want to take a player from for your goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, or attacker. You take that specific position, you put them into your team. You'll see my team on the screen. I think I'm going to do pretty well with that. I know I've got a contentious pick with Neymar in there against Liverpool, but I still think it's going to be pretty good. And then we go head to head and see who can pick up the most fantasy points. They have a rule system on there, of course, that explains how points get accumulated. It's very similar to other or all fantasy football stuff that you would have seen. And of course, every person that signs up to My4 app in September, so this month, not just for this video, but for this month, will be entered into a draw to go to the Champions League final with 3 friends. Of course, for that, you also have to be over 18, and we will be playing My4 not just for this one round of fixtures, but throughout the rest of the campaign in Champions League, Europa League, the English leagues, whatever we want. And we're going to be going head to head against each other, and we're going to be seeing who can come out on top. So sign up, guys. Link is in the description below. And so with that being said, guys, thank you so much for obviously supporting the journey, for supporting the cause. I don't particularly do very often sponsor videos within YouTube, so a bit of a different one for me. The My4 app, genuinely fantastic. I'll be using it myself, of course. We'll be going head to head against each other, but let us get into these cards. So the first ones we've actually seen already, the gold card and the gold variations, and the bronze cards and the bronze variations, and the silver cards and the silver variations. I personally am not the biggest fan of the standard cards this year. I think EA could have done a bit of a better job with those ones, but maybe they'll grow on me. Every year people seem to hate them, and funnily enough, I was talking to Nick and Haber last night, and we was looking at FIFA 17 Road to Glory stuff because of that. We're going to do a pack-only Road to Glory on the second channel this year, and the cards from FIFA 17 look like they're about 10 years old. It's crazy. They look hideous. So maybe these card types will grow on me. I actually really like the Team of the Week design. I think it's pretty fantastic, and I really like the icon design as well. I think the icon design is very, very clean. I personally prefer the white version of icons compared to the blue versions. But what would be sick is if EA could give a differentiating mark on the icon cards to state whether it's the baby, the mid, or the prime. Nothing major. Like you can see in the icon card that I've got on screen right now, the little like icon ball, and it's got the 3 stars above it. Perhaps having just like 1 star for the baby, 2 stars for the prime, 2 stars for the mid, 3 stars for the prime. Something like that would be pretty sick. Would be good to see. But that's neither here nor there. Moving on to the next card designs, and we've got card designs that again have either been confirmed for this year, for example the ones to watch, and card designs that we've seen in previous years. I actually really like this new way EA is setting up the cards with the stripe down the side. I think it's pretty cool. I think it allows for some pretty cool color combinations in terms of card types, which I think had to kind of be done based on the fact that they have so many card types this year. We've got the Record Breaker again. There weren't too many Record Breaker cards put out last year. To memory, I know James Milner was one. There was I want to say Martinez. It wasn't Martinez, was it? The MLS player got one. Then obviously the hero card. We saw a lot of hero cards last year, and the one to watch card. Now the one to watch card is actually a pretty funky design, and I'm hoping that EA lend more towards that than anything else. But what's really bizarre is it just me, or is that one to watch card design kind of like PlayStation themed? Do you know what I mean? Like I know there's no buttons on there, but I see the O's, I see the color schemes, and I just think, man, is that like a PS thing? Is this like a bit of a hybrid, bit of a mix there? I don't necessarily know. As we move on to the next set of cards, the FUTmas card there, again, another one, guaranteed, confirmed one that we had last year that I assume will be back this year. FUTmas has typically been a big hit for EA since they started it a couple of years ago with those new SBC players. The FUT birthday card design, which I didn't particularly like this year. What do you guys think about the FUT birthday card? It just wasn't my bag. It wasn't necessarily my favorite thing, my cup of tea. And then the Movember card right there. I do remember the Movember card before, the brown ones. They weren't very nice. My graphic designer, Jack, he's kind of put a little spin on here. It actually looks more like what the FUT Champions cards were like. Was it FUT Champions? Can't remember. We had a card design like that. But anyway, that could potentially be what Movember looks like. Another 3 pretty cool cards. And the card types just never really stop. We're still into the cards that we've already had at this stage. However, we do have a different thing for this slide. So we've got the FUTties winner card, and obviously the FUTties cards in general, which would look pretty sick. You know, obviously we've got some incredible FUTties winners last year. The Anthony Martial, that Rashford, Bakayoko, Manolas, Versalco, some amazing cards, Lozano for example. And then the pro cards, we've seen the pro cards, they started off a kind of like turquoise a fair few years ago. They were really light, really bright, and I actually wasn't a fan of them. But if the pro card looks something like what we see here on the screen right now, that'd be pretty awesome. And then we come into FUT Swap. Now, FUT Swap came around last year as a 1 month thing, and generally speaking, there was a lot of massive benefits, but also a lot of like questions about the FUT Swap deal. First of all, I didn't necessarily rate a lot of the trades for the FUT Swap stuff. Like sometimes you had to trade in like an SBC that might cost you 30 to 40,000 coins to get a FUT Swap card that you dump in for a player that you could buy an alternative version of for less than what you had to pay to get the FUT Swap card. So it's pretty, in that regard, I don't think the promo was kind of thought out as well as it should have been. On top of that, it was so late in the day that the cards that were on offer weren't really great. And with Team of the Season, like Team of the Season was just a few weeks after the FUT Swap promo, it kind of just made them relatively pointless. However, this year in the database, there are FUT Swap deal type cards for 11 different months. They literally have the term FUT Swap Deals 1, FUT Swap Deals 2, all the way down to 11, and then FUT Swap Deals Rewards. So we will obviously see them in the pink variation that we saw last year. Not obviously, just potentially, actually. But what I'm excited about is that this is going to be great for content, for hardcore players, for casual players. The FUT Swap in that regard was a fantastic promo. And a lot of the things that people said when the FUT Swap thing came out was how awesome would this be if it started on month 1 next game cycle and went throughout the whole game. So even if these upgrade FUT Swaps in deal 1 are only like minor upgrades, first in forms, it's going to be amazing playing the game to earn the FUT Swap cards to get some players. I'm just genuinely excited for FUT Swap and what it is going to offer for us this year. Moving on next, and we have got some brand new cards this year. So we have got the Premier League Player of the Month, which isn't a brand new card, of course. We've had Player of the Month last year. The card designs for the Player of the Month have generally been really, really nice. Even in FIFA 17, they were really nice. I think FIFA 18's Player of the Month cards were really clean. And FIFA 19's Player of the Month card could look something like what you see on the screen now. But we've also got the Bundesliga Player of the Month, which is brilliant. We're going to get, another 10 or so, maybe 11 Player of the Month cards in the game from the Bundesliga this year as well, which is just going to be great for squad building. You're not going to see or feel obliged to go down the Premier League route because you've dumped so many coins into untradeable Premier League players. You're now going to have Bundesliga players too. Now, that could be both positive and negative. If EA keep the price of the Player of the Month stuff super expensive, you could see just you could just be dumping more coins into untradables basically unnecessarily. However, if they make sure that the upgrades are clean and tidy, but the requirements aren't like super overpowered or super expensive, I think this would be a great alternative. And again, based on the number of card types that we have in the game this year already that we've seen, there's going to be so many options for upgrades and special cards and players throughout the course of the year, throughout the course of the campaign, that I'm hoping that things will stay reasonably priced. I'm probably expecting too much there, but then also, guys, we now have a goal of the month card as well. So every month that the Premier League Player of the Month is announced, there is also Manager of the Month and Goal of the Month. And so we're going to have Goal of the Month. I don't know if that's going to be Bundesliga or Premier League. I don't know if that's going to be something not real life related and maybe something FIFA related. But could you imagine getting a Goal of the Month card where it mostly boosts to just shooting? How cool would that be? So the card would be a generic card. So let's say, I don't know, Danny Welbeck, always go to him. Danny Welbeck gets Goal of the Month and all they do is just up his shooting to like 95. But the rest of his card stays the same. I think that'd be pretty cool, but generally speaking, a Goal of the Month card would be absolutely insane. We move on. We've got a new SBC card, the Flashback SBC, guys. So Flashback SBCs are going to be in the game. It is literally called just that as well, Flashback Player SBC. Now, the term Flashback doesn't necessarily mean end of era. However, there is no end of era in the database, but there is still premium SBC cards. So obviously we've seen the SBC and the premium SBC cards from last year. So the Flashback SBC, is this going to be something like Ronaldo from Real Madrid or Ronaldo from Manchester United? Is this going to be something like, I don't know, Van Persie from his Arsenal time? Is this going to be something, like along those lines of players that are still active, but are at the back ends of their careers and could actually have Flashback SBC cards? I'm hoping we see these often and from early on in the game, because if they release the first Flashback SBC like they did with the premium SBCs, the premium players and the end of eras and stuff, we're not going to see these cards until quite late in the game. And for example, that Kaka card last year was just one of my faves. It was just a brilliant card that I loved using. And then of course we also have the St. Patrick's Day card, which is maybe we could see some Clovers on there, but it's going to be the typical green card, which is going to be pretty nice indeed. We then move on to some new stuff again. This year, we are going to have Team of the Season and Team of the Year nominee cards. Now, I don't know if that's going to be via SBCs. I don't know if that's going to be in packs. I know FIFA Mobile had nominee cards last year, and they were basically like third inform versions of the card. So let's say Martial was nominee for Team of the Season. Instead of being an 83 left mid, he went up to an 87 left mid, and then if he became Team of the Season, he'd go up to like a 92 left mid. I love that. I love the fact that there is going to be more in-between cards, because even last year, even in FIFA 18 at the back end of the game, with all of the Festival of FUT cards, all of the Team of the Season cards, all of the informs and special cards, you still saw people just driving towards the same base core group of players. And what I hope Team of the Season and Team of the Year nominee cards will do is just change that and allow us a little more freedom and a little more possibility to just use different teams without being penalized, essentially. And then obviously we have the Team of the Season gold cards, and then the FUT Champions gold, I assume that that's just going to be like the monthly rewards, the FUT Champions gold, silver and bronze, because there is gold, silver and bronze. And then we move on, and then we take a look at the Team of the Year nominee, the Team of the Year golds, or the Team of the Year cards, and the SBC cards. Of course, the Team of the Year and the SBC is nothing new. The Team of the Year nominee is absolutely something new, and that is pretty much what they could potentially look like. I do like what Jack's done with the background of the Team of the Year gold rather than nominee, where he's like put a little outline on the FUT 19 section there. Just looks pretty neat, pretty clean, and shows it's an enhanced version. We then move on to some new cards again. We've got the Premium SBC, which is not a new card, but we have the Europa League and Champions League SBC cards. So there is a Europa League Premium SBC card. There is a Europa League Man of the Match card. There is a Europa League Path to Glory card. There is a Champions League Common and Rare card. And then there is a Champions League Man of the Match and a Champions League Path to Glory. There is also a Europa League Team of the Tournament, a Champions League Premium SBC, a Champions League Team of the Tournament, and just a regular Europa League card, which is just nuts. But I don't know if they're necessarily going to look like the SBC cards with the Champions League or Europa League kind of theme on them, or if they're going to be their very own design, like, because we have kind of already seen some Champions League and Europa League stuff with the screenshot that EA not leaked, but showed in one of their promos, where you had like the Lewandowski and such, the Kante I think it was, up there. We saw two different variants of European cards there, so they could end up looking like those, or those could be some of the Path to Glory cards or the Man of the Match cards. We don't know, but it's exciting again to just have so much, especially with the fact that Champions League starts tomorrow, and that means that on day one of the game coming out, we should hopefully get Champions League cards straight away. I'm super excited. Can you tell? And then, of course, the Man of the Match Champions League, and the Man of the Match Europa League. They was traditionally orange. There's a few colour types, weren't they? They were a bit weird this year. But that is definitely what the Man of the Match cards could potentially look like. And then moving on to the other ones that we just talked about, Champions League Rare, the Europa League Rare, and the Champions League Path to Glory. I am super pumped for Champions League Path to Glories. I know they are releasing one to watch cards day one, the 28th. I can only imagine if the Champions League Path to Glory cards are what I think they might be, and they are going to be cards that follow, you know how one to watch follow league only, and we had the World Cup Path to Glory cards that followed the World Cup. I can only assume Champions League Path to Glories will follow the Man of the Match upgrades that players get from, or the upgrades in general that players get from the Champions League. And so this again, because the Champions League is starting tomorrow, this again has to be something that comes out in the game relatively quickly, which is just going to make for more amazing content, and I'm super excited to be able to bring it to you guys. We then move into a few more, the Europa League Path to Glory, which much like Champions League Path to Glory will just be the upgrade patterns for the Europa League players. As an Arsenal fan, I'm excited for some Europa League Path to Glories if they are what I think they are going to be, because it means I could get at least 2 or 3 Arsenal Path to Glory players that we might see get upgraded a lot, because Arsenal got a relatively easy group. I would expect Arsenal to get to at least the quarters or semi-finals of the Europa League, so, you know, could potentially see a massive Aubameyang or Lacazette through the Path to Glory for the Arsenal players. And then Champions League and Europa League Team of the Tournament cards, very much similar to what we had in the card terms of last year. I actually am not a big fan of the Team of the Tournament card colours. I didn't like them very much. I just didn't use them either. I don't know. I just wasn't a fan. But the ones that Jack has made there are pretty sick. And that signals the end of the cards that we've seen. I think a few of them I didn't show, like the Team of the Week Bronze, Silver and Gold, because we've just seen the Team of the Week cards. The rare Bronze, Silver and Gold, because we've seen them. There is also one other card that's in there that we didn't get a card for up here, which is the award winner card. I don't know if that's going to necessarily mean, for example, the Ballon d'Or winner gets an award winner card. You know, there were so many, you know, or like I know last year, like the Tipulagean Player of the Year got a card, but it was the same as the, what was it to say? It was the same as like the Olivier Giroud goal winning card. Can't remember what it was called exactly off the top of my head, but they were the same. So I wonder if they've just separated and segregated those now so that we get an award winners card too. But that, guys, was the list of the brand new cards in FIFA Ultimate Team, and my graphic designer's interpretation of what they could potentially look like and what they could be used for in FIFA 19. Guys, it is days away now before the 20th and before we get our hands on the early access and get to start playing this game. I am so excited. 3 or 4 days ago, I wasn't gassed. I was like, whatever, you know, I'm happy, but I wasn't really that pumped. The closer we're getting, the more gassed, the more pumped I'm getting. I'm super hyped. Let me know what you think of these card designs in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.